Saturday morning. Looks like the cat's been trapped in the garage all night. Poor thing. This is the end of August, and it's one of those mornings where that little brisk air in the morning. It's like 60 degrees, kind of brisk. Feels good. Summer ain't quite over. It's still gonna be hot, but there's an end in sight. But with that comes winter and frigid temps. As y'all recall, it gets as low as 20 degrees here sometimes, even lower. Alright, I gotta get another tire for my test stand. This is driving me crazy. I can't stand flat tires. We went to a little shut up, Molly. I'm trying to talk here. Alright. Alright. Cats don't listen at all. I'm telling you. They train you. You don't train them. So as I was saying, went to a little car show last night. Molly. And the 55 laid down on us. And the reason for that is, I think the dome light was left on. We put the charger on it for not long enough probably. And we took off charging and it popped the maxi fuse I have in there that feeds the fuse panel. That's 30 amp. It probably should be a little bigger. I think we'll go with a 40. So I had to MacGyver that on the side of the road with a pocket knife and a little crescent wrench I always have in my pocket. We got her going. She come on home, no problem. Alright, I done run a few errands. Bought a bunch of parts for the lawnmower, $140 worth. They don't look right to me, but hopefully they're the same thing, only different.
Right.
And I bought the most important thing, mechanic in a bottle. All these years I've been doing it with my bare hands, and here you can buy it in a bottle. Think how much trouble you'd save if you'd have just bought a bottle of this.
That's right. That's what I was just thinking.
Alright, the next challenge I have is I saved all the parts carefully from that lawnmower last weekend in a box. But I can't find a box of parts. Y'all help me look, will you? Alright, I found it. I put it so carefully away that I couldn't remember what I'd done with it. So, let me see how these parts jive up. Alright, here's what we're up against. I gotta figure out if this stuff is right. I gave him the number off the deck, and if you want to know the truth of the matter, I personally looked the parts up. Because I didn't really count on the man there at the counter, plus he was busy. And this is what I came up with, and it's different. But I think it's the same. The shaft is obviously different, but it's changed the parts around. This goes on that pulley. I think it's going to work. Let me do some assembly and see. You think it'll work? You know what's going to happen if it don't? We'll break out the welder and this thing's running today because the grass is about 2 feet high.
Yeah, it's like a jungle walking through our yard.
Yeah, that's right. Alright, here's what we got to do. I think this is going to work even though it's the same thing, only different, except I got the wrong bearings. I got the bearings that matches the old one, but this shaft diameter is smaller than the original. So I go back down to the parts store and they got the right bearings with this shaft size and that outer diameter. I'm in business. And I don't know what it is, but every time I take some parts back and buy the right parts, it costs more money. Last 2 times I went and bought a belt, I needed a little bit shorter one, it cost $1.50 more.
For less.
For less belt. And then, when Little Miss needed the air conditioner working in the truck, we went and bought a belt. Are you listening to me?
Yeah.
We went and bought a belt, and it was too short. So I thought, I'll just send her with that belt and get the longer one. It'll be cheaper, right?
Yeah.
Nope, it's $1.50 more. Go figure. Alright, my little rant's over. Gotta go to the parts store. Alright, here's what we came up with at the parts store. I got the one of the bearings I needed, which is good as none of the bearings I needed because I need 2. but I'm gonna call around, see what's what, see if I can find one. And I gotta make a spacer here. Let me find something to make that. So I'm looking for this bearing. I call one store, it's closest to me, and they said, the kid answered, he said, no, can't help you, I ain't got one, don't cross over, sorry. So I call the same chain in another town. The guy says, yeah, I don't have it in store, but the other store, the one I just called, has one. I said, really? I just talked to the cat and he said he ain't got one. He said, well, he might not know what he's talking about. So that's how that goes. Alright, it's back in the old truck. We're going to take it down. Little man says he wants to take Old Blue, so we're going to take it. While we're out, we're going to buy a fuel filter, because when we left the other auto parts store, what happened?
They only have one.
It went, pulled hard first, second, and third, and then she all of a sudden went, because it ran out of fuel. Classic sign of plugged fuel filter. Well, we're back from the parts store. Got the bearing I needed. I'm gonna tell you what, those boys didn't wow me with their intelligence, but I got the bearings, so we're gonna let it all slide. Just let it slide. Hey,
Yeah.
what do you think you're doing?
Looking for something that has.
Well, something ain't in there.
Yeah, I see that. You must be out on the workbench.
Alright, I got this confounded, aggravating lawnmower back together finally.
Oh, that's a cutting wheel.
Shouldn't take this long. Doggone it. Anyway, I'm going to bring the lawnmower and hook it up and see if it cuts grass. If it does, I'm going to turn it over to you, and I ain't fooling with it no more.
Wonderful.
I got that mechanic in a bottle. We're going to dump some in there. Hope that fixes everything.
Hope so.
Alright, the deck's back on this thing. I'm going to go out and see if it works. Huh?
Yep.
She ain't right. And if it works, I'm going to be happy. And if it doesn't, I'm going to throw it in the bushes and buy a new zero turn for about $8,000. Right?
No.
Well, we're going to call the lawnmower a success. My new exhaust system must have added about 20 horsepower. It was cutting through grass about that high. Full deck width, just mowing right through it. I'm sure the new blades didn't have nothing to do with that, or the 14 horse Kohler motor. So I think the header added about 20 horsepower. So we'll call it a success. I almost forgot, I got some stuff I need to go pick up, and then I'm going to come back. I'm going to put some wheels that hold air on this thing. It might make it look a little cooler too. And then I'm going to start thinking about it.